Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. Welcome to part 2 of my Inhumanoids video. So in the first video, I did not finish reviewing these vehicles because I didn't have all the parts. I just showed you a quick overview of them. Today we're going to go deep into all of the features and functions, parts of this vehicle, and I'm going to tell you the problems that I run into with these vehicles. So what to be careful to not break yours. And also, this is the Trappeur, this is the Terrascout. So we're going to take a look at both of them. Coming up.
This is the Terrascout. Assuming that Auger knows how to read, it'll be ready when we are. It will hold 2 scientists.
First off, we are going to talk about the Terrascout. The Terrascout is a 2-manned vehicle, and it is the smaller of the two, but it is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting, and the stuff that it does is, of course, different than the stuff that the Trappeur does. So they have different functions and different features, but they still have some similarities. You know, it is Hasbro making a G.I. Joe type of vehicle. So they have things like engine covers and just extra stuff like that, which is pretty cool and a lot of detail going with it. But first off, overall, you're going to see they have this overhead canopy, which there's a specific name we're going to talk about, a front gun. It does have molded tread, like tank treads, that it also has kind of a rotating double wheel system here. Anyhow, it does house 2, seat 2, but let's get into the specific names of each and every one of these features. First off, they call this the movable headpiece, and so this does cover him. There's no sunlight when you're in a cave, right? But still, rocks might fall on him and stuff, so he is covered there. This dude, he's just gonna get destroyed. This is an engine cover, a removable engine cover. And it opens up to show a little bit of detail going on in the engine compartment in there. So one of the things I've noticed when I was picking this up is a lot of these are broken, and so you got to be kind of careful with that. So another feature they have here, they have light piping. So all of these have this light piping going on right here. They call that a glow in the light scanner. So what it says the glow in the light scanner does is maps subterranean chambers and formulates battle plans. And there are stickers. Now, I'm not sure if the sticker placement is exactly right, but there's stickers right here. And so one of the things that this thing has is what the instructions or the blueprints say, that it has a thought-activated computer that reacts in a millionth of a second, if I'm reading that right there, so a millionth of a second. So anyway, that's kind of a cool feature there. Let's go look at any other features. Okay, so these treads are called side-mounted all-terrain treads that can traverse any terrain and provide increased maneuverability in battle. So that's what these are all about. Really kind of cool. Shows a whole lot of gears and mechanisms, not just wheels and stuff. So that's actually pretty cool. You can kind of slide forward a little bit, see another sticker going on over here. And then it's funny how, first off, of course, there are two separately. There's a nice sticker here and some more stuff going on back there. They're opposites. There's two separate opposites. A lot of times you get wheels, they're exactly the same on each side, but with treads like this, they have to be opposites, and that's the way it goes. And more fun Inhumanoid stickers there. These wheel-looking things are actually what they call the front-mounted diamond-tipped drilling apparatus, and it's specifically designed to tunnel under the earth to ferret out Inhumanoids. And although it looks like wheels to me, it's a drilling apparatus. So that's kind of interesting. A lot of thought went into these, a lot more than if you just look at them and go, there's a couple of Inhumanoid sleds there. But right above that, we're going to get into the next feature. They call this one the rotating laser.
Auger will operate the control panel and front gun, which pivots side to side to ward off Inhumanoid attack. And
it can cut through solid rock and hit targets over 500 feet away. And there it is. There's really no handle to hold on to. And one thing about this laser here, there's something here that looks like a handle. Maybe they could hold on to that, but I doubt it. One thing is, I don't think you could easily get this out once you have it. So once you've got this thing plugged in there, pulling it out might break it. So it's one of those weird things with these old vehicles is they're made to plug in but not come out. Looking at the back here, there is a rear platform for someone to stand on, and it's really tricky to get a figure in there. So this figure, and I think the green one, so those are the ones that could fit in there. So looking at this setup though, when I looked at the show and just kind of when they started showing this, the auger figure is the one that they say drives it, and then I just decided to go ahead and toss him on the back there because I saw him riding on the back, and that's just the best way I think it would display going forward.
This is the Trappeur. Herc will ride in front, operating the claw.
Next up, we're going to take a look at the Trappeur, and the Trappeur is a 3-man vehicle. Well, you've got 2 people operating it, and we'll get into what they call each one of those stations, and then we have somebody in this kind of flight pod thing back here. So I do want to say that this one is bigger, has more parts, is a little more challenging to complete, but we'll get into each aspect of this coming up.
The hook can be used for lifting, dragging, tying, or scaling.
So the first of the features is the retractable grappling hook. And this thing is controlled by a computer, can operate a computer-operated winch, can shoot over 300 feet into the air, and this is, it does come out quite a bit of a ways, and then you have to kind of roll it back up. So clockwise. So this is kind of the not fun part, is the rolling it back up in there. Not fun at all. But anyway, it also has the light piping right here. So they were really big into light piping back in the 80s, and this is a very delicate, fragile connection right here, so you got to be very careful with it. So I do have a few different stickers on here looking kind of cool, and it does make a bland vehicle a little bit less bland. This does have a front-mounted claw. It is made of tempered titanium and can lift up to 10,000 pounds. So there's a couple things about this. First of all, it can grab something and hold it. Just for demonstration purposes, you can do this, but you really can't do much with the big Inhumanoids. It's not going to do much. But with this guy, probably, and you know, the granites and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't really make sense to grab onto them, but still, that's what that does. And it does have kind of a lever mechanism on here, right here, and then you can open it with this lever here. And also, I just noticed when you push this up, it opens. I don't know if that's a bystander. I'm not sure exactly what this piece here is supposed to do, though. So anyhow, pretty cool little mechanism if you get it working right. And oddly enough, I think that's a 40-year-old rubber band still working in there, because I didn't put a rubber band in there and it's still working. Or whoever had it for me did it. Who knows? The front's called the command station that houses control consoles and scanning devices. The back is the navigation station, houses infrared scanning devices and a sophisticated computer system that detects all forms of organic and inorganic life. So that's the official names for it. Pretty cool. Next up, we have thought-activated computers that lower down on top of them, so they thought activate. They're also light piped. There's light piping, or what they like to call glow in the light scanner, which I guess is coming up here as the next one. So thought activated computers control all of the vehicle operations. The glow in the light scanners map subterranean chambers and formulate battle plans. So that's right there, kind of cool. They're both different though. One kind of connects to the outside, the other one connects to the inside of pegs, and way different. Inside you do see some detailing and molding inside there. If you can pull a figure out, you can see the driver's area. You do have pedals and all kinds of stuff going on in there. So pretty cool, interesting features. And of course, it's molded different depending on which one of these compartments you're looking at. But still, for driver, it's not as cool as if maybe it had an extra actual molded seat that was screwed in or bolted in, but they were trying to hit a price point on these back in the 80s. So again, this has treads. They call it the high traction side-mounted tread, and it can traverse any terrain. So with that, it's just treads. They just kind of hold in place. But there is a wheel on the bottom to help it roll. So it rolls with these wheels, and so the treads are non-functional. It also says that the body is titanium reinforced body. It's exceptionally lightweight and can withstand temperatures of up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit because they are going into the core of the Earth.
The Trappeur is equipped with a hover platform, which Sandra Shore will operate.
Now getting into what I think is very silly. I do not like this mechanism at all. The detachable hovercraft with harness trap can reach speeds of up to 40 miles per hour and is used to trap and subdue Inhumanoids. So it comes off here, and like this, I have it around the character, but it's not supposed to be used around the character. It's actually supposed to be used to this harness to capture stuff. So this itself, it comes in 1, 2, 3 pieces, very flimsy and very hard to use. There are stickers on the inside there. This is one of those things that does not match the cartoon hardly at all. There are some rear thrusters here and a lot of kind of line work and gizmos, and you can see some fans and stuff, but it's supposed to flip around. The reason they have it set up like this, flip around like this to capture stuff, and it shows in the picture it actually standing like this on the box, but it's impossible to make it stand with your figure like this. But let's show kind of an example of what it should look like in action. You're definitely not going to be catching decompose with this thing. So flying around in this contraption, and there are foot pegs. None of the figures stay in the foot pegs very well. I use this one because of its short feet there, but yeah, silly if you ask me. Since we're back here, this has a detachable engine cover, and that's what the engine looks like. This is something you see on a lot of the G.I. Joe vehicles Hasbro made, and they carried it over to this line, which makes quite a bit of sense. And while we're back here, there's a lot of detail back here in the back. But I am going in the order of the instruction sheet, so the next thing that we're going to look at on the instruction sheet is the headlight protection panel. So the headlight protection panel is something that prevents debris from blocking the light beams. So that's interesting, and this is a really hard part to get because it's made of clear plastic and easily broken and easily lost from your vehicle. So probably the hardest part to get on this thing, which kind of held me up. If you saw my last video, you noticed I didn't have it, so I ended up picking one of these up. And so there's some detail in here, and you can kind of make out what some of it is and some of it is not, but almost feels like this and this are windshield wipers underneath the windshields, but I don't know, that's not really what that's supposed to be, but that's kind of the way it looks. And from the front, you can kind of see this right here. Getting down here, they call this the all-terrain tracker wheels, and they are puncture resistant and specifically designed to climb sheer rock surfaces. So the whole point of this is that the small one will start it up over it, and it can go over any surface, and that's the point of having this design. And with that, it does look weird, strange, and funky, but it's allegedly designed to be more functional. So I hope you enjoyed this look at the Inhumanoids Part 2, the Trappeur, and the Terrascout, the vehicles in the line. There are a lot of cool features in there, a lot of interesting features, and a lot of things that I just feel like don't really work. So with that, I'm glad they put a lot of thought and try to put some playability into these, and it's interesting. Some of the parts are hard to track down, which is very frustrating as a modern day collector, but they're really not that expensive in the long run and grand scheme of things, and all of the different toy lines out there, the amount that it costs to pick these up just really isn't that much. It's not that big of a deal. So with that, if you are into Inhumanoids, I would say to get these because they are pretty cool. If you want to get a couple of extra beater figures to put in them so that you can house them, looks really good. A lot of fun, a lot of interest. I'm interested in what you think about this. Did you have these back in the day? Do you have these now? Do you think that they're just something to avoid? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. To Dear Hanger out.
approaching the Mojo discontinuity.
Mojo discontinuity is a natural barrier that divides the mantle from the Earth's crust.
Look out, Augur!
I never thought I'd be happy to see you.
Inhumanoids! Inhumanoids!
The evil that